Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again, and I got a big update on the Inquisitor Blade Flurry character. Now, I did end up investing a bit more currency into it so that I could fine-tune some gear and make him the longest neck of them all, and it did end up being basically my best character, probably by a decent margin, just overall defensively and offensively. The idea was to try and hit something like 10 million Blade Flurry damage, and, well, it's doable if you have War Chief down and Berserk up, which are situational buffs and I don't usually count them. Otherwise, we're at something like 8.5 million Blade Flurry DPS, which is pretty absurd, because usually I am talking about DPS in the 2 to 3 million range or category, but this character here just, I don't know, things are getting a little bit silly, a little bit out of control. And I think you can do that with just about most skills, melee skills that have the huge additional physical portion attached to them through the Legion buffs. So something like a Cyclone, something like a Blade Flurry, both are going to be just doing stupid numbers these days because they got kind of more damage than they ever needed, I think, with the last buffs. In any case, Blade Flurry here is just a monster. If you haven't tried it out, then you can get some very serious area, basically touching the edge of the screen, using only an increased area support with a Pulverize, and then 20% area on the tree. The investment is honestly a joke because all you're doing is using 2 gems, and one of them's insane for damage anyway, Pulverize, and then just 20% area, and you can touch the edge of the screen with your Blade Flurry. Sub out your 2 area gems and for single target gems, and you basically double your boss damage. It's a very versatile, very strong skill now that I strongly recommend, and if things don't change, it's probably going to be one of the starter builds or starter characters I could recommend. Not necessarily this one, but maybe a Blade Flurry, Slayer, Champion, Berserker, or Gladiator, and we'll see how things go when the patch is arrived. Well, soon enough anyway. This here is my deepest delve and the only death I've had on this character, so it is a completely hardcore viable 100% deathless character except for this, which I'm still not counting because look at those delve mods, look at that asshole off-screening me with some stupid ass mods, even though my character is actually pretty beefy, and well, you probably wouldn't have done something like this on hardcore anyway, so hey, still hardcore viable, yay, never died. The rest of the content I went through, all tier 16 legions, bosses, Uber Elder, 5-way, pretty much never came like below 50% life. It's just such a strong character offensively and defensively because you do have some serious mitigation going on, but as well as that, you are usually getting the jump on things and killing them or freezing them well before they even come close to touching you. So overall, if I need to take damage, well, the Taste of Hate, the 3 endurance charges, you're popping Berserk throughout a lot of the tougher legions and stuff, some armor, some just all kinds of shit, means that you're barely taking any damage even while wearing Abyssus against a lot of this stuff, but most of the time, well, nothing really gets a chance to hit you anyway, so it's actually more defensive just in the don't get hit category. So yeah, it didn't really take much damage. It is a pretty strong character, and even for deep delving it was really strong. I got through my deepest delves quite comfortably and could easily push more because Blade Flurry is just a nice playstyle, especially with the freezing aspect of it. However, don't really have that much soul fight, and as you can see, you can still randomly die to some serious bullshit out there. If you're not fully aware of everything that's going on, which I guess I wasn't. I don't know, maybe it's my fault, I'm still pretty salty, whatever. So these are the Guardians, it's pretty smooth. I did do an Uber Elder that took something like 1.5 minutes, so probably my fastest Uber Elder as far as I'm aware. So Blade Flurry has delivered us that as well. Probably one of my best 5-ways too, and I'll have both of those at the end of the video, but I do want to just show you a couple of little updates on the character's gear and setup since I finally fine-tuned it. So this is the character still, level 93 Morning BF long neck, and just a few little updates and stuff, and this is how I start my mornings here. If it's a little bit colder, got myself a blanket, and there's no reason to really change out of this until I start stream. So yeah, a little bit casual here. But what we have is, as far as changes are concerned to the character, since last time, just a bunch of gem changes and supports and stuff like that, but I did try crafting a serious pair of boots. So I went with a two-tone base because I needed the implicit resists, but on top of that I wanted an additional abyssal socket just so I could get some accuracy into the socket as well, and that means that I'd cap my accuracy just a little bit better that way. And what I did here was a 4-socket resonator using Shuddering, Pristine, the Abyssal one, whatever the fuck that one, Hollow I think it is, and then Sanctified as well. But there we go, 4. And first try, got a pretty decent pair of boots. I would have settled for just about anything with the one abyssal socket, so it didn't really need movement speed, didn't really need a life roll, could have put it on myself. And the resists I didn't really need any more than just the implicit, so that's where we're at. Just wanted to try crafting a pair of abyssals, but really it's not going to be that make or break on the character. That said though, the entire thing put together did end up being a little bit costly, I'd say, because I did want to go for the full fine tuning, and some things I learned are this type of weapon is much better than this one. So currently I've got like 8.5 million damage, I think. If I had 2 of these instead of this second one, I'd be up to like 9.3 million. So it is more worthwhile crafting another one of these. And I don't think they're honestly that hard to make. It's just, you know, going to take you 1,000 or so alterations per one of these. And then the actual exalts for the multi-mod as well. The rest of the stuff still hasn't really changed and still is what it is. But I do think it's going to be a lot cheaper and a lot easier to get a character like this rolling as just a gladiator, a champion, a berserker, pure fizz and impale. This is kind of just another option a bit later into the league, I'd say. As far as other things are concerned though, I did end up getting a fully min-maxed aura setup, so I went with Hatred, Blood and Sand, Herald of Ash, and Light in level 4, and then squeezed in Precision up to level 4, I believe. Because that's all I could manage. If you've only got a level 3, I think you can do a level 1 precision with all of this shit, but the idea is we want to fit Hatred in because it is easily going to be the best aura for us when we're physical based and converting a lot of damage to cold, and then on top of that, getting the Watcher's Eye that does 40% converted physical to cold is going to be a pretty nice DPS boost as well. I didn't end up using a timeless jewel at all, though you definitely could in this spot. Or up here in this spot, if you got the right one, it's going to be worth doing, but I didn't bother going for those. Aside from that, I did also change my passive tree a bit, because I didn't really think I needed this crit that much anymore, and that meant that traveling down here for Soul of Steel was just a little bit inefficient for this life and Soul of Steel, so we got rid of these 3 points, ended up grabbing Eagle Eye to fill out accuracy and crit, and then filled out life and armor, and a bit of life and life over here. So did end up hitting 6,700, almost 6,700 life, and capping my accuracy thanks to those nodes. And I did get these armor nodes to try and substitute Soul of Steel. So I've got more life than I would otherwise have this way, but a little less mitigation. You can definitely go the other way and see how you like it, but I thought it was worth doing that. Then took a castman damage taken into a Molten Shell, grabbed a Stone Golem, do have a Berserk, and make sure you're popping your Berserk for bosses or any real tough situation, which for me is usually I clear a Legion just to pop everything. As soon as everything's popped, that's when you use your Berserk on the tougher stuff. When you pop it for your Marikeths and things like that, that means you're pretty much never going to die when Berserk is up for those tougher situations. And then of course grabbed an Ancestral War Chief, and we plopped down a Vile Ancestral War Chief for certain fights, but most of the time run around with regular War Chief. I'd say that's about it for the character's development and all that. It's a pretty min-maxed, pretty fine-tuned Blade Flurry, so it won't be super cheap to make, but Blade Flurry itself is a really strong gem, and you can make it very good on many very different setups. I'm going to leave you guys with the fastest Uber Elder kill I've ever done, and probably my best 5-way battle as well. However, I don't think you can really get much faster under these parameters. You're going to need a Headhunter, someone to reset your shit, or Cyclone to really get much faster as far as 5-ways are concerned, I think. This is pretty much as good as it gets, I'd say. Maybe could do just a little better because it's not the greatest clear for this type of situation, but it is still a very strong single target. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. So I'm at 6 rage right now, 7 rage, 9 rage. I can kinda stack it. But now that this is over, I have to make sure I attack Shaper, even while he's immune. Now I won't be stacking rage. There we go, stack some more. Okay. Now I've basically just got to randomly attack Elder. 50 rage. Alright. Just gotta keep it up. Got him? Yep. Popped him through. Oh, my rage. Goodbye, portals. Pretty good. My rage! God. Alright, rage ain't too bad. It takes, like what? A quarter of the fight to stack it up, and then you can pop Berserk whenever you want. Which is pretty handy. Nothing, 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 nothing. 1 minute 30. Was it? Because that'd be my fastest. I think 140 was my fastest before. So I've got to kill something real quick and then swap belts. That's it.
M'lady.
Getting slowed like that while I don't have momentum is just shit. And that blind! Fuck, dude. Alright, can you die now? And we're gonna maintain rampage. Okay. Pretty shitty start, to be honest. Maybe I should go for her like second. Because we have no momentum. That fight is ass. Also, I was forgetting to swap out my blood and sand. I think Conk is fine. No need to put on increased area. Conk still gets the job done. And I can use the additional deeps on the boss. Oh shit. I mean, it is pretty comfortably my best, I'd say. Single target deeps. Will it result in the most everything though? Like, I basically need a resetter to push it to the next levels from here on out. And I ain't doing that. That's cheating.
Milady.
Oh, I haven't got started on him even once yet. That's so good. Yeah, that's easily my best single target. It's like not even close. One blade flurry, one good blade flurry unleashed just takes care of it all. It's so nice getting to wipe that guy out instantly. I think we freeze it as well, by the looks of it. The bosses. I can't kill her in time, can I? Oh, did it. Pop berserk at the end. What do you get? Horror choker. Nothing. Oh, and Kadira randomly. Alright, could do that. Good loot. Elder Hubris. I think Elder Hubris ain't bad. I'm level 86, yeah. Oh, Lethal Pride. Oh, Militant Faith.